Well, boys and girls, we back. Another video talking about what fantasy players you should sell high or buy low at. There's a couple players that I think on my list that will surprise you, but let's get into it. All right, so this is my list, kind of who I kind of have on my watch list, players that I'm looking to see what offers I can kind of give and what people will buy it on. But first off, I'm gonna start off with Alec Pierce. He's one of those buy low type guys. I think that Anthony Richardson's looking to run the ball, and he's kind of looking for those deep plays. It looks like Michael Pittman isn't really outputting too much offense for his team, so Alec Pierce is one of those guys. I would imagine Joshua Downs, when he does come back, I think he's injured. Once he does come back, he's going to play a big part as well, but for now, Alec Pierce is a good option. I have Joshua Downs there. Deontay Johnson, I think you'll see him get a lot more output with Andy Dalton being the starting quarterback and Bryce Young being gone. Tank Dell up there. I also think that he's going to be a really good offensive player. You think you saw a lot of Nico Collins lately, but eventually these Texans receivers are all going to be pretty good options. It's going to be kind of one of those hit or miss weeks, and sometimes this guy will do good this time, sometimes this guy will do good. So Tank Dell's a good option to buy low on. Chris Olave, I think that Rashid Shaheed currently has more targets than him, more touchdowns obviously as well, but Chris Olave is somebody that I would take as a mid-season kind of player that I'm looking at, somebody that I think would be a good rate pickup for anybody. And as you kind of get him at a good value right now, because obviously the Saints are doing really, really well. They're kind of finding it. They're hot right now. Kamara's not going to get 40 points every single game, so that's somebody else I'd buy low on. And maybe a day late. I was going to record this video yesterday, but I didn't. But Ramondre Stevenson, he got 0.3 points yesterday. I would sell high on him. I don't love him as an option long term. I think if you're gonna go for somebody, I think you would go for Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, I feel like is a better what's the word, value, better value for your bang for your buck. But obviously, obviously a lot of people will tend to not be so high on him now because of his .3 performance yesterday against the Jets. Then Jigba, another buy low. I think that he's going to break out of his shell. DK Metcalf is doing really well, but I think that he's going to slow down, and then Jigba will kind of take over there as that 1A, 1B slot receiver for the Seahawks. Tony Pollard, I put him on here, but I'm not sure if he's buy low or sell high. Because a part of me wants to say that he's sell high, but I do know that Tennessee, having such a young team, you saw the coach of the Titans say that Will Levis has fucked up a couple of times, and kind of been critical on Will Levis. So I do think they're going to run the ball a lot more, and I kind of like those dump passes off to Tony Pollard. So he's kind of in the middle. I would see what you can get for him. I wouldn't necessarily trade him away, but I think that he's a good, one of that middle ground, like sell high-ish player or buy low player, depends on how you look at it. But I do like him a lot. If you can get your hands on him, I would take a shot at making an offer for him. Obviously, it's barely week 3, so I wouldn't come to many rash decisions. But I do like Tony Pollard a lot right now. Rashid Shaheed, I'm 100% sell high on him. I know that he's a deep threat. I know Derek Carr loves those deep balls like he did with Henry Ruggs back with the Raiders. But I do think that Rashid Shaheed's going to slow down, and Olave's going to find his role as that number 1 receiver. Raheem Mostert for me is a buy low. I think that Raheem Mostert has a lot to offer for your team. I know that Devon Achane has injury problems. He is a young player, but he has too many injury problems for me right now. So I'm super big on Raheem Mostert. J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is the best running back at the moment in the league. So for me, he's a sell high. See what you can get from him. I wouldn't necessarily trade him away, but I would take a look at my options. What will people give me for him? Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, the number 1 pick for most leagues. He's been hurt. He hasn't played a game. Super concerning for a lot of people. So I would, kind of poke the stick at those people who did get Christian McCaffrey and say, hey, I can get you J.K. Dobbins. What are you looking to get rid of for me, right? So that's a good player to sell high on. Brian Thomas Jr., For me, he's a buy low. Christian Kirk has not had that offensive output, and Brian Thomas has, and I think that quickness, that speed, Trevor Lawrence likes to look his way. Just because right now I don't know what's up with Christian Kirk, he hasn't had many options or opportunities. So I do like Brian Thomas. I think he's a buy low for me. Justin Jefferson. I do like the way the Vikings offense has come out to start the year, but because so many injuries surrounding Justin Jefferson at times, for me he's a sell high. So what you can get from him, maybe a top tier running back, a top tier or two good tier receivers, but Justin Jefferson's a sell high for me. Other than that, let me know who you guys are riding high on. Who do you guys think that is a good option to pick up for anybody in regards to trades? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. The hardest part is fucking hitting stop record, because